Well, hello everybody, Barrett Wilson here with Guitar Tricks, and today in this video we're going to get into some tips on learning major and minor pentatonic scales. We'll get into playing them one octave at a time instead of two octaves at a time, and then we'll also talk about playing them on one string only. This is a really fun thing to do. We'll also get into the mechanics of these scales and how they can jumpstart your playing. So hang out with me for a bit and let's get into these pentatonic scales. Real quick, head to guitartricks.com/pentatonic scale fun, where you can enter your email for a free beginner guitar guide, which includes 10 worst mistakes beginners make, a dead simple practice plan, our famous beginner chord chart with the 14 essential first chords everyone should know, plus a lot more. Okay, let's get into some pentatonic scale tips here. Now, if you're just starting out, or if you've been playing for a little bit, you may be familiar with some pentatonic shapes. Now, a lot of times there's these two shapes that everyone plays that are really great. I'm gonna cover them really quickly, and they're really fun because you're only playing two notes per string, which is great for learning scales. A lot of other scales, it doesn't work out so easily. Now there's this one, if we're in the key of A minor, we've got two notes per string starting on the 5th fret of low E. We're gonna play 5 to 8. We're gonna play 5 to 7 on the next string, on the A string, 5 to 7 on D, 5 to 7 on G, 5 to 8 on B, and 5 to 8 on the high E string. This is a great shape to learn and absorb and get into your playing. Also, there's a second shape that's rooted on the A string instead of the low E string. We're gonna take that open and cover this really quick just to review. This one is open, A to the 3rd fret, then open D to 2nd fret, open G to 2nd fret, 1st fret of B to 3rd fret, open, high E, and 3rd fret. Now this is a great one too, and you can also take it an octave up, and you can play it up here. Okay, so if you know these, you've got 3 spots of the neck where you can play these. If you take them into different keys, all of the patterns work as well, as long as you know what the roots are. Now this is all great and all fun, but if you're like me and you struggled with scales for a while, sometimes you need something a little bit easier. So a big aha moment I had when I was studying guitar was that you don't have to play on all the strings, and you don't have to play 2 octaves at a time, especially when you're learning and absorbing a scale. It's nice to just study 1 octave at a time. So let's take a look at this and see how it works over our A minor pentatonic shape that we had. Basically what we're gonna do here is just drop the low 2 strings, the low E and the A string. I want you to start this on the 7th fret with your ring finger of the D string. Now this note is an A note, and it's gonna be the root of this pentatonic shape. We're gonna start there. Now, I wanna say something real quick. The pentatonic scale just means 5-note scale. There's only 5 notes. This root is the first one, and it's the main one that we wanna keep track of. It's the big one. So keep track of that A root. Okay, now from here, we're gonna move to the G string. We're gonna play 5 to 7. Now, music theory-wise, here we're playing a minor 3rd to a 4th. So we have a root, a minor 3rd to a 4th. Okay, next string, we're gonna play 5th fret to the 8th fret. And we're playing a 5th interval. This is in relation to the root. And then we're playing a flat 7 or a minor 7 interval here. Those are the only 5 notes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're gonna keep going a little bit and just go to the next A octave. We can think of this as our 2nd root on the 5th fret of the high E string, okay? That's just to finish out the sound. Here it's kind of unresolved. That's where we want it to resolve and land there. So this is a great place to start. Maybe get a little jam track going. I'll get us a little A minor going here. You can loop it, play around with the notes, really hear the sound of each note. Like that flat 7. Very rubby. Okay, you get the picture. Now, another thing I want to add here. Okay, we've got 5 notes, and we've got our octave, but it is nice to finish out that 2-note per string pattern. So what you can do with this root note here, add in a whole step below it, which is a G note. It's part of the scale, and it's that flat 7 that we were playing up here. So it's that same thing, just an octave lower. So adding that in will complete the 2-note per string pattern for the D string. We already had 2 notes here, 2 notes here, and then on the high E string, we can add in that 8th fret. It's a C note, and it's that minor 3rd interval. Okay, so you get the picture. Now we've completed, we have our 5-note scale, and then we've got a few extra notes to fill out the pattern. They're still all part of the scale though. Let's hear that with our little loop here. Okay, so that's a great thing you can do in that position. Okay, now let's look at one more pattern here. We're gonna look at a pattern that's rooted on the G string. So we're gonna go to open position. We have another A root here on the 2nd fret. Now we're gonna play our minor pentatonic scale up the neck here. Here to the B string 1st fret, 3rd fret, to the high E string open, and then 3rd fret. Okay? That's our 5-note scale right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now for this one, if you want to complete the 2-note per string pattern, you can find that flat 7 note on open G. So we got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's a great place to start. And then if you want to finish off the octave, same octave here on the high E, you have to move positions. Okay? Okay, so that's 2 great places to play on the neck in A minor. And then of course this smaller shape here, you can take it up above the 12th fret and it doubles. You have to change your fingering a little bit though. Start with ring finger on the 14th fret of G, then middle on 13 of B, pinky on 15, and then we're gonna go index on 12 of high E, pinky on 15. And then if you want to play index here, to grab that G. Okay, so I hope this helps. Just focusing on 1 octave at a time really gets those notes in your ear, and it sort of focuses you in to really master that one part of the scale rather than having to think about the whole entire double octave scale. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about in terms of major pentatonic and minor pentatonic is how to recycle shapes that you already know. Now, with this A minor pentatonic shape, this is also already a shape that can be used for C major pentatonic. Now, if you don't know about relative major or minor, this is a great thing to study up on. Basically, all it means is that if you have a major key like C major, within that you have a related relative minor that includes all of the same notes. So A minor and C major are relative to each other. So that means the A minor pentatonic scale that you learned is relative to C major. So we can play C major over it. So if I record a little C major thing, and play that same scale up here, down here, okay, you get it. So those notes also work. So you're doubling up the shape. You've already learned the shape and the pattern. Might as well use it over some other chords. Okay, so this is a great place to start. I recommend also working through these shapes and finding the roots and all of the major guitar keys. So that's sort of the keys that you'll find in the caged system. So C, A, G, E, and D. Work through the relative major and minors. You can also look up the circle of fifths, and this will be a guide for you how to find the relative major and minors. So for the key of C, it's going to be C and A minor. For A, that's going to be A major. F sharp minor is going to be relative minor to that. And there we got G. G and E minor are related to each other. We've got E and C sharp minor. Those are related to each other. And then finally we have D and then B minor. Those are related to each other. Starting with those 5 keys and finding those 3 different spots on the fretboard, this is going to open things up huge for you. After that, you could maybe study the key of F, and then maybe get into a few other flat keys like B flat, E flat, and A flat. And your world is going to open up. Alrighty, now I have to say, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a like. That would really mean a lot to me. Also subscribe to the channel to keep up on updates. Also in the description of this video, you'll find a link that'll take you to a free trial of guitar tricks. Why not? Go ahead and do it. Okay, so now we've learned some scale patterns here. We're playing through a few different spots on the neck. Now I want to take you into learning a scale on 1 string. We're going to start with a major pentatonic shape going up the E string. Now, learning scales on 1 string really helped me out a lot. It helps you to see it in a linear fashion, all on just 1 string. It also is very good for learning and understanding intervals, being able to really see the distance between intervals. Also learning notes on the fretboard, which, as you know, I'm a huge fan of. And then this focuses our attention just on 1 spot of the guitar, which is great. But the other thing about this is it can be very musical, and it's also great training for your ear. So let's see, what do we got here? We're gonna do a little E major here. So okay, I'm going to play this scale just on 1 string, major pentatonic. Okay, so I can have a lot of fun sliding around. You can bend notes, and it's really a whole lot of fun. So let's get into this. Okay, we're in E major here. Now for major pentatonic, here's the notes we're going to be playing. So we've got open E. This is our root. We're going to move to the 2nd fret. Now this is a major 2nd interval. We're going to move to the 4th fret. This is a major 3rd interval in relation to the root. Then we're going to play a 5th, perfect 5th. All right, that's on the 7th fret. Then we're going to play a major 6th interval on the 9th fret. So that's our 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have our octave up here on the 12th fret. And that's E major pentatonic. So this is really great for really seeing the distance between intervals, right? We have E to F sharp. We can learn that note. That's a major 2nd, 2 frets. We have E to G sharp. This is a major 3rd. It's 4 frets apart. We have our perfect 5th here, which is a B note. We can see this is 7 frets apart. So from open to 7, that's the interval of a 5th. And then we have a major 6th interval here on the 9th fret. Just like that. That's a C sharp right there. And then finally, our octave is 12 frets. Okay, now let's compare this to E minor pentatonic. Okay, so now going from major to minor within the same key, this is called a parallel major or minor. Okay, so we're still in E, but we're gonna play it minor. We're gonna go open to 3rd fret. This is a minor 3rd interval. Remember from E major, we were on 4th fret. So happy, delightful, pleasant, to 3rd fret, extremely sad. Not that sad. Okay, so that's a minor 3rd interval, 0 to 3. Then we're gonna go to a perfect 4th. This is a 4th interval. This is on the 5th fret. So open to 5th fret, that's the interval of a 4th. Then we're gonna go to the 5th, so we share that with the major pentatonic. And now instead of going to major 6, we're gonna go to a flat 7. Okay, so that's 2 frets below our root. Okay, so that's how that works with the interval. So open, minor 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7. Let's record some E minor here. Okay, so a lot of fun there. You can see I'm moving around. Again, I'm sliding, trying different techniques. If you're a shredder, this is the time when you try some tapping. I'm not much of a shredder. Yeah, can't do it. But this is your playground to start messing around with stuff like that. Okay, now as we begin to understand how the intervals of a pentatonic scale work and what the distance from fret to fret of each interval is on the fretboard, now we can then start to learn the scale on other strings. So all we need to know is where that root is of our scale on that particular string. Now this will help you to start learning the notes on the fretboard. Now if this is too much, I recommend getting the sound of that particular scale in your ear, so much so that you can start to find it on other strings just by sort of noodling around and looking for those 5 notes that you're familiar with in your ear. Now this search in and of itself turns out to be quite fun and incredibly useful for building your ear and just learning in general. One of the reasons being you're gonna make a ton of mistakes during this process. And it's those mistakes that'll help inform you how to play the right notes. Okay, this is really the practicing process, and this is what so many of us guitarists have to go through. Okay, thanks so much for watching today. Please be sure to leave me a comment on this video. Let me know if this is helping you out, or if there was something else that worked for you when it comes to learning pentatonic scales. All right, enjoy your guitar playing, and I'll see you later.